Hi everyone, happy Friday. I haven't done a video for a while. I try to keep in contact with everyone, do a video now and then. So I just thought I would do a video on this subject today. Ta-da! Perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause. Because, well, to be honest with you, anybody that knows me knows that I've got a massive interest in this area. So I'm not saying that men should turn off. I'm not saying that maybe younger women should turn off from this, because you're going to go through it at some point. Whether you go through it the same as what I've gone through it, we're all different. But I just thought I've just got a massive interest in this, and going through it myself at the moment with perimenopause. I think it's just quite important to sort of discuss about the link between peri and menopause and weight issues, weight gain, because they are linked. Yep, sorry to say, ladies, but we get it all, don't we? We get puberty, we get periods, we get giving birth, and then we get menopause at the end of it. And then with that comes weight gain. So yeah, a little bit of information, making this up as I go along, made a few notes. So if you see me like that, I want to make sure I don't miss anything out. As we age, especially women more than men, and we start to go through the perimenopause, our hormone levels start to fluctuate. So we start to lose estrogen. It goes up and down. It's a little bit like a roller coaster. I certainly felt like I've been on a roller coaster for the last few years. It starts to go up and down, and with fluctuating hormone levels, the estrogen lowers, androgen raises. Now this is where it affects our weight, because as androgen raises and estrogen goes down, it can lead to us storing more fat, specifically in our stomach area. And also, it also can lead to us storing what's called visceral fat, which we do need, as it surrounds our organs and protects them. However, we don't want to have too much of it. Too much visceral fat can be quite dangerous, really, for our health, and can lead to cardiovascular problems and many other diseases as well. So we don't want to be too high with the visceral fat, and we don't obviously want a lot of fat in our bellies either, do we really? So, because it's not good. It's not good for our health, and also can lead to things like diabetes type 2. So, yeah, as our estrogen levels dip, that's what happens. So if you're finding that you're in that stage where you're like, I swear I'm not eating any differently, why has all this weight got on my stomach, what's going on? Could be down to this reason. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Some of it is not your fault. It's just down to hormones. And it's not impossible to sort it out. It just means that you have to sort of relook at your diet and your exercise. There are a lot of people out there, I've said this before, maybe not eating enough, so they need to maybe up their calories, and also make sure you're including good sources of fibre and carbohydrates, because that's going to help with hormone balance as well, and also with stomach fat, because having a good level of carbohydrates helps balance out your cortisol levels, and that sits in your stomach. So that also will affect your stomach fat. And also, as we age and we go through the menopause, we start to lose a lot of muscle. So it's another thing as well that us ladies get, more so than men. Men hold on to their muscle a lot better than women do. So if we're losing muscle, then we're not going to be burning as much fat as we used to. And also, we're not going to be protecting our bones as well if our muscles aren't surrounding it and they're not strong enough. So this is why there's a big thing now about women and osteoporosis, because our bones start to weaken. So if you're not burning as much fat, that's where that comes from. So this is why I do go on quite a lot about muscle building, about weight training, because building more muscle as we age and go into the menopause will protect your bones a lot more, and also will enable you to burn more fat, and it'll be better health-wise for your body. So yeah. Now, I'm a big advocate for HRT. Why am I a big advocate for it? Because it's actually, in some ways, saved my life, I think. I when I went into perimenopause at the start, I didn't have a clue what was going on with me. I mean, they say, don't they, with symptoms. I mean, this is all a bit old school now, really. Oh yeah, it's all to do with hot flashes and night sweats. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I've had my fair share of night sweats, but to be honest with you, my peri started with sleep issues. I just stopped sleeping. I'd go to sleep and then I'd wake up at 2 o'clock and I'd be awake for the rest of the night. And you can't live life like that. And also sleep links to your diet. Significantly, it does link to your diet. If you're not getting enough sleep, ideally at least 7 hours a night, and I know that's hard because with some people, I work late nights as well. I don't get into God midnight and then I'm up with a school run. It's hard to sometimes get those 7 hours, but where possible, you need to try and get at least 7, because sleep can also affect a healthy lifestyle, how you're leading your life. If you don't sleep enough hours, then you're more prone to getting blood sugar spikes throughout the day, and this then can encourage you to want to eat more and also crave the foods that aren't so good for you. So that is why there's a lot of things linked to sleep when it comes to diet as well. So yeah, if sleep was one of the first things I noticed. Low mood, anxiety started to creep in. My skin was shocking. I had a lot of spots on my face. It just started, these little symptoms start to creep in. And you start to think, oh, this is not right. What's going on, you know? And I must have been probably going through it for at least a year till I was like, well, I can't take this anymore because I want to kill myself, basically, which isn't the best way to be, is it? And then I think we sort of hit COVID around the same time, and obviously then I couldn't work, could I? So it wasn't the best. But yeah, so I did approach my GP, and I have to say it was a bit of a process because there's a lot of stigma behind HRT because of the old types of HRT being sort of having higher risks for breast cancer and blood clots. That's not the case anymore. Not if you're on the New Star, not if you're on transdermal, because transdermal goes straight into your bloodstream. You bypass it going through your body and through your liver. So it's not so high, there's no real risk to it, to be honest with you. But yeah, so they were still sort of like, well, we don't really want to be going down that route, you're far too young. And I'm like, well, there isn't really an age when it comes to peri and menopause. There are women that go through it before they've even had a chance to have children. So it's getting better. I would say it's definitely improving. My surgery was very good, actually. I got them on board with the Dr. Louise Newson free course, and they agreed to do it. And now I have to say, we've got quite a few GPs that are up on it. We've even got a male doctor who's taken interest in it, which is great to see, because you'd normally think, why would they have any interest, a young male doctor, in the menopause? But I think it's important. I mean, women of all ages, half the population goes through this, is going through this, will go through this in some sort of varying degree. Some women have it better than others. I'm just one of those people that's just hit it hard. And I know that HRT isn't for everybody, and not everybody can take HRT. There are people that aren't able to do it, but it's just, I think if it's that you're one of those people, trying to get your diet in a good place will help you long term. I'm not saying it's going to take all the symptoms away, because when you see people advertising that, I've looked into it before and thought, really? You think that those vitamin tablets that you're paying bloody 50 quid for a month, or you think by eating that's magically going to take away your night sweats, might have a reduction slightly? It's not going to make, I don't think, a massive big deal. I have tried it all. I literally have tried it all because I was desperate. It hasn't worked. It hasn't really worked. So if you're someone that's maybe worried about HRT or can take it, I'm not saying the path is a bit rocky. I mean, it's taken me a year to get to a place where I feel like myself again. I feel pretty balanced because I'm up and down all the time. There are days where I'll be like, living life, loving it. Woo, yeah, so great. And there's other days where I literally wake up and go, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. So it is a bit like that. But I definitely, once you get yourself on the right type and you're the right balance, living life. I feel a bit like I'm back. Obviously not looking like I was in my 20s, that would be nice, but I'm back sort of feeling energy-wise and in my head more confident like I was back then. I just feel a bit more like ready to take things on. And he was really scared. When you lose that, that's very scary, because you lose all sense of yourself. You lose all your confidence. You don't believe you can do your job. You don't want to go out. You don't want to see people. You don't want to do anything. And this is part of it, how it links really to diet and exercise. Because when you're feeling like that, why would you want to get up and start doing exercise? You just want to sit on the sofa and feel sorry for yourself. You don't want to get up and do stuff. You don't want to eat good foods because you want to comfort eat. Because you want to eat all the things that make you feel better at the time. All of this does link to each other. So it is important to try and get yourself eating the right types of food, eating the right amount of calories for yourself, and trying to incorporate some sort of exercise into that, because it will make you feel a lot better. And if you are an HRT, and you're not right about it, don't sit there and just accept it. Go back to the GP and say, look, this is not right. Can I try this? Or can I increase it? I mean, I'm on a lot of menopause pages on Facebook, and there's a lot of women on there that are saying that, oh, I've still got symptoms. I started this and it's not worked. I'm like, well, if you've been on it for a few weeks now, it might be the case that you need an increase. And you need to start taking a bit more, because that's what happened with me. I'd be like at a great level, and then suddenly my anxiety would come back in. Now, I'm telling you now, in all of my life, I have never had anxiety, ever. I mean, low mood, yeah, especially during my eating disorder days. I think that came with depression, because obviously I just hated myself. So that was part of it, is that, I just hated myself day in, day out. So I had very low mood. But so I know where I'm at with myself in that sense. If you've been through that, you know your own head. I know how to read myself. So anxiety it's never featured at all. So I knew there was something not quite right. And I know that once I up my HRT, in a day, I might feel fine again. So yeah, if you're feeling a bit like that about it, don't just sit up and put up with it. Please go back and make sure you get it sorted, because and just read up on it, do your research, and make sure you go informed to your GP, because that will help. That will really help you. And for people that aren't able to take HRT, take the supplements you need to take. You can still take the menopause supplements, and they will help with alleviating some of the symptoms and reducing them. But make sure you get yourself on a good, healthy lifestyle going forward. A diet full of a good amount of carbohydrates. So you're looking at about 50% of your diet needs to be carbohydrates, but good carbohydrates. I'm not saying don't have a donut. I'm just saying try and have a donut if you want to have a donut. We all like a donut. But try and have foods that are full of fibre, that are going to fill you up longer. Your body's going to have to burn off. It's better for your digestive system, because that can get a bit sluggish as well. I don't know about anybody else. I do find I make comparisons sometimes to pregnancy. Your bowels go through a bit of like a sluggish, and that's some hormone imbalance as well. It does affect your digestive system, and you can end up thinking, well, I've got constipation. All these things link. You need to make sure that enough fibre in your diet to help you deal with the constipation, and also water, fluids. Now, I'm the first one to admit that I do not spend my days drinking glasses of water, because I don't really want to drink just glasses of water on their own. So I drink squash, because I like squash. I drink water at work. If I go and do a gig, I'll drink water all night, because, well, it's free, isn't it? And I'm not noticing what I'm drinking. I'm not caring, as long as I'm drinking something for us to sing a song. So for me, just stick on the water. I've done my bit for water now. I tried to drink about 3 pints the other night. I was up all night weeing. Don't do that. But yeah, water, fibre, and then protein. Yay. I say the word protein quite a lot, but it's so important, because I've talked about this, about muscle loss as we age. Having enough protein in your diet is really important for keeping up your muscle mass. And that's whether you're going through menopause or you're not going through the menopause and you're a man, or you're a younger woman that's not going through menopause, or you're anybody, or you're a kid. We all need a sufficient amount of protein in our diet to help build, repair muscles and support our bodies. So get your protein levels up. And then your fats. Fats also, I mean, I know these days of low fat diet thing, gone out the window. Fats are essential for helping your body absorb vitamins and minerals. And they also do play a part with hormones as well. So it is important to get a good balance of all these things to make you hormone happy. I go on about carbohydrates, but they are linked with your hormones. So they are very important when it comes to balancing hormones. So anybody considering going on keto or Atkins, please don't do it yourself. Take it from me. I've done my research on this. I did years on it. I was bloody miserable. And yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good for my health. I'm so glad that I didn't do that now, because it probably would have a more detrimental effect with me getting older. But as a woman, we need carbohydrates. I did it in my 20s and got away with it. It's just not good. It's not good to do as you get older. You need those carbohydrates. And if you're someone that's moving about every day and you're busy and you've got a job where you're on your feet, or you're someone that's exercising, I don't even know how I did it really back in the day without carbohydrates. They are your main energy source. They are so important for your body to use to burn throughout the day. If your body doesn't have that source of carbohydrate, it has to look to another source to burn. And you might think, oh, that's all right, it will burn my fat stores. Now, I know there's a thing about keto and ketosis and it burning fat stores, but it will go to your muscle. So if you're any muscle you have left or you're working on, it will burn that. So it would be very detrimental to your muscle mass. So yes, that's my information for that. Have I covered everything? I think I might have done. But I was meant to be just doing a quick video on this really, just to say that I just take a massive interest in menopause. It's a big thing. I'm all on these pages all the time, just commenting and stuff about it, because there's so many women struggling out there that aren't doing or don't feel they can do anything about it, don't really know what it is sometimes, and don't know how to get help. And we know that we are up against it. With some people aren't lucky enough to have the GP surgery that I have, and actually the ones in my area in Totton, I've spoken to quite a few people that go to other GP surgeries, and there's some really good doctors there that are on it now and know the correct information. Don't just give up. Keep fighting, because if you are able to take each HRT, it's so important going forward. Not just because it balances hormones and it helps you if you're struggling day in, day out, just to live life and be happy, but also going forward, it also is now proven scientifically to help with osteoporosis. So, all these people out there that are suffering maybe in, age-related sort of bone loss, and fractures, things like that. It helps you keep your bone density up. Dementia, and as we know, there's a lot. I sing in care homes. I see this day in, day out. If it's going to protect me against dementia, I'm on it, And also heart disease. Heart disease is one of the biggest killers of women, heart disease. So if it's going to protect me against about all three of those things, yes, please, I'm going to add it. And do you know what? I'm thinking, I'm quite happy to go. I mean, it's a ball ache some days, because I'm on the gel, so I'm on about 5 pumps of gel. So you imagine me trying to rub that on every day. I'm like that. Now I just sit there like this, let it dry. Like that. Like that. Come on. So yeah, I'm on that and the Marina coil, so I don't have to worry about that, because it's up there, isn't it? So yeah, it can be a bit of a ball ache, but I'm thinking, wow, I got on it early, so this is good. Hopefully this will protect me going forward. And also, I'm also on testosterone as well, which is new to the table for some people. I mean, I know we're led to believe that testosterone is just for men because it's a male hormone, but we actually as women make 3 times more testosterone than we do estrogen. So yes, it's very important to us. It's a sex hormone. This is why I think, fine with a lot of women, hands up here, I'm going to be honest, is that if we have a lack of testosterone, it affects our libido. And this is what I've been through in the past few years. Literally just it's like a switch just turning off inside me. Yeah, goodbye. Don't feel anything anymore. Don't care. Don't care about sex. Don't care. Never want to do that again. That's what it literally does. It's not good, is it? Testosterone. I think if we had it like being, included in our HRT regime, there might have been a lot of marriages saved. I think there's a lot of, it's quite important to us women for many reasons, but it's still up and coming. I've been fortunate to be able to have testosterone because of low libido, because on the NHS at the moment, that's the only reason why they'll prescribe it to you, because unless you go privately, you have to have the male version of it. So if you go privately, they are able to get in the female version of it from Australia, but it's not licensed on the UK. Hopefully it will be one day on the NHS. But so you're on the male form of it. And they will prescribe it if you've got low libido. So it took some time to get it, but I tell you what, bloody works. It was literally like a firework going off on me. I used it a couple of days in. I was like, oh, what the hell is that? I felt like I'd awoken. I was like, ah. And Matt was very happy too. So yes, testosterone, low libido. Also though, energy levels. A lot of women that are starting to take it have realised how much more energy they have, and brain fog. There's a lot about brain fog now. I've not had that problem so much, but there are a lot of women that are saying, I can't remember this, I can't remember that, I can't do my job. Women are leaving their jobs early because they don't think that their brain can manage it anymore. Testosterone gives you back that. Why do you think men carry on doing great, and they don't seem to have all these issues? Because they got it pumping through their system. And then we then lose it, and then we can't have it back because it's not been researched in the past that we need it. So that, and also linking to the thing about muscle, it affects muscle. As I said, we lose a lot of muscle as we age. Testosterone helps building muscle. So if you lose that testosterone, not only are you losing muscle naturally because you age, but also lack of testosterone adds to it. Ta-da! I mean, I would say I'm a bit of a case to this because I had a blood test done when I had my testosterone, and after studying, I've looked into about supplements and things and about levels that we have in our system, and creatine is one. And creatine is linked to muscle wastage. Now, back in the day, I was sitting in the green, but I noticed when I hit perimenopause on my bloods, I was in the red. Now, I've never been in the red before for creatine, and I did query this with the GP, but the GP was like, oh, don't worry about that. I did my research on it, and I've done a course on this. Creatine is really important. People take it as a supplement if they're bodybuilding to try and increase their muscle mass. So we need creatine for muscle. Now, it was in the red. It was like 47. I think we're meant to be in about the 50 mark, the 50s, mid-50s. So then I started my HRT. And I've been weight training throughout. So even when mine was really low, I was still doing weight training. So it wasn't like I suddenly started weight training. So then I carried on as I was with the weight training. I've started taking my testosterone. I've had my next lot of bloods, and my creatine level is now at 60 odd. I mean, that can't just be a case of like a fluke, can it really? There's something in that. Now, I know the doctor's not that bothered about it, but I am. That shows to me that having my hormone levels right, all of them, testosterone as well, has actually increased and improved my creatine level. So I'm not my muscle's not wasting away as quick as it was before. So win-win, isn't it, really? So I'm just saying, these are the things I want to discuss today. The importance of hormone balancing, importance as you go into peri and menopause, about making sure you get your diet right, making sure you keep your energy levels up, making sure that you try and do some sort of weight training to increase muscle mass. It's all very important as we age. And like I said before, it's getting the right amount of calories for you, and it's getting the right amount of carbs, fat and proteins for you as well. I know that's hard to figure out sometimes. I've said before, that's obviously what my job is to do to help people, and everybody's different, so they need different amounts. But there are calculators out there if you want to do it for yourself. They're all over the internet. Just pick a good one, put all your information in, and then see what it tells you need to do. And then use something like MyFitnessPal to track everything. I'll say it and I'll say it again. I say it to all my clients. logging and tracking calories is the only way I think that you can really be successful with it, because otherwise you just have no clue what you're putting in your mouth, really. I mean, you might think, oh, I'm only eating a little bit of that, a bit of that. It's amazing sometimes what's in stuff. And actually, you may find you're not eating enough. So it is, you can use something like MyFitnessPal. I use it with all my clients and I can see exactly what they're doing day in, day out. It really helps you get a sense of what you're eating. And you can add your exercise onto it and link it all. So there you go. That's not going to cost you a bean to use that. That's just for free on the internet. Right, I'm going to stop rabbiting on now. If you've got any questions or queries, or you want to ask me anything at all, feel free to message me. I love talking about the menopause. I don't know if everybody else wants to hear me talk about the menopause all the time, but I've become quite an advocate for HRT, the menopause, all of it, and the diet and exercise that comes along with it. So feel free to ask me anything, and I will leave you now in peace and quiet. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for listening, and take care of yourselves. See you later. Bye-bye.